There's no intro. There just isn't one.
No.
You can't.
Move along.
Yeah, I mean, we should. This is just a Friday night thing now, right? You're my new Friday night thing.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
It's our regular. It's starting to be regular.
maybe not.
I don't
maybe
know.
energy's a little low on Friday.
I don't know.
Who could say? We're not doing anything anyway.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. We could. I
Yeah.
mean, you can go out.
Yeah, you can go out.
Now, it's quote unquote safe. Is it safe? A lot of movie references. Movie show.
I don't know.
I mean, like, you're definitely increasing your. There's a risk you'll get coronavirus
Unless you stay in your home and don't see anybody.
but then it comes in through the air conditioner.
Whoa.
You don't understand.
Whoa.
And then Q gives it to you. No, wait.
What?
Pick a better letter. Why Q? We're lousy. We're stacked up with Q's and entertainment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why the Q? Trek shouldn't have done it. It was
Yeah.
already spoken for.
Yeah.
In the 50s. Or is that a movie thing? Bad James Bond fan. I don't know.
Wow.
The point is, word from the CDC today, antibodies only last 3 months. Remember how I was saying
Yes.
before? I don't think on this show, but how we just don't have the data.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Science is experiments plus time, isn't it? And that equals
Yep.
data. And now we have the data, 3 months.
It's not a very long time.
And I can't get it again.
I know.
Yeah, I can't go back to jail.
No.
I can't get it again. I'll die. So
Yeah.
maybe we will just do this every Friday night from now on.
and order food in, and not go out.
But then it gets on the food.
Oh my goodness! Well, you can't like just live your life afraid, right? I mean, that's no way to live.
Whoa, we got an anti-masker here, folks.
That is not.
When did you change your name
That is
to
not what I said.
Meet Karen?
Shut up! Don't call me a Karen.
It's so funny how like every inch, every molecule of land is a battlefield in the culture war.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can't even make fun of like mean, expectant ladies who want to see a manager. Now that's
Being expectant white ladies who want to see a manager.
all right. I wasn't making it a racial thing. It's just like entitled people who like, look, just wait your turn. There's a thing that gives the paper tickets at the deli. We did talk about this on an earlier show for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So just wait.
Yeah.
And you know what? This isn't Karen Mart. This is K Mart. You know what I mean? That's what the K stands for. So I'm sorry we don't have it, and we'll order it, and we'll tell you we're in another store. But what the heck?
Yeah.
We're all just human beings.
Mm-hmm.
If I asked you to do 6 backflips right now, you'd say, "Sure, I'm Jackie Chan." And I was like, "No, I thought I was talking to Karen." And then 6 backflips, and look who got served.
Yeah.
We'll save that for later.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, you finally lost the toss, or should I say won. So I get to go first.
You do get to go first.
Yeah, and
tell us what your movie is.
I will. My movie is The Transformers.
Yeah, that "the" is important.
Yeah, this is before Sean Parker, really told us what it was with articles. From the year 1986.
Yes.
And it is a film, and it's about... That's not my job.
Oh boy.
It's not my job.
The the show's been on the air for like about 2 years. And the Transformers are the good guys, and they're robots in disguise.
Transformers are not all the good guys. That is incorrect.
What do you mean? I didn't say there weren't other good guys.
No. Come on. Keep it together. Do your job.
Okay, I'm sorry. The Autobots are the good guys.
Okay.
The Decepticons
You don't know
are the bad
the letters
guys.
we'll get, so I'm just making sure.
Okay.
Right, go ahead.
Yeah, and the Decepticons are the bad guys. The Decepticons have
Class.
well, okay, so they
Style.
yeah, well, they were on Earth and they were fighting on Earth, but the Decepticons, I don't know how long. Anyways, at the beginning of the film,
Okay.
They have taken over the Autobots' home planet, which is called what?
It's the Transformers home planet.
Oh,
They're all from there.
Oh, okay.
And we never,
well, they kicked the Autobots out for some reason.
And well, they don't like them.
They don't like
never get a real solid line, as far as I know, at least not, in non-extended media, about the class or race divisions. Maybe it's in the new War for Cybertron series, which we talked about last week. Mm-hmm. We're on a kind of Transformers kick. Are they different races? Or are they different species?
Well, one thing that you and I have talked about is that...
Robot racism?
Well, a little bit. But that most of the Decepticons can, fly. And so maybe they think they're superior.
It's ableism.
Yeah.
Transformers is a robot ableism parallel.
There you go. So that's basically what's going on. They send... and the Autobots are on 2 of the planet's moons, and they're trying to they're rallying the troops, and they're getting themselves ready to launch a fight to be able to be back on the planet, and fight the Decepticons. The Decepticons find out about this, and there are a series of multiple attacks. There are a large amount of qualities. There are a large amount of casualties on the Autobot side, and a lot of named Autobots are killed at the very beginning of the film.
You forgot they were Autobots. Stop pretending like you care about them.
What? Anyways,
there are about maybe 45, 50 lines of dialogue in this film, and somehow you've stretched it out for 5 minutes. So let's bring it home.
Okay, and the biggest death is, of course, Optimus Prime, and he, is their fearless leader, and he passes on their... What is it called again?
The MacGuffin of leadership.
Yes.
The Matrix of leadership.
Yeah, and he passes it on to Ultra Matrix, is that his name? What is his name?
Magnus.
Ultra Magnus.
His name literally means super great.
Okay. A lot of other things happen. There's a lot of fighting, and not much of a plot.
Well, not when you tell it like that.
Jeez. Will you tell it better then?
No, that's not supposed to be a bit. That's just something I have to do every episode because we would never get out of Act 1.
I was just saying that's what happens in the movie. There's a bunch of fighting back and forth. They go to different planets. They meet different robots. They have fights with different robots. Some of the robots help them.
You sound like Orson Welles. Why don't you just say, I did a movie today about a bunch of toys fighting other toys.
I forgot a major point.
Yeah, I think so.
Unicron is a planet that eats planets. And then we find out later that he's a huge transformer.
Well,
so,
of course, why wouldn't he be?
Yeah, but he's like the huge bad guy. And the Decepticon leader, God, what is his name? I'm bad with names today.
That's how it feels.
Yeah. Tell me out with his name.
Which one?
Mega... something.
Let's see. What could the second syllable be?
Megatron.
Actually, it's a third. Okay, yeah, Tron.
Megatron gets really badly injured in one of the fights. He gets pulled towards Unicron, and Unicron is like, basically, you're going to do my bidding for me. You're going to get this MacGuffin.
Bring me the frozen peas.
Because I need it.
I will make you Spock.
We never know why he needs it, but yeah, right. And he turns him into... What is his next name? Like
Galvatron.
Galvatron, and then he's voiced by Leonard Nimoy.
Galvatron, voiced by Leonard Nimoy, and basically, what's his character? He's a new man? Yes, he is a old driver, because there are 15 shots of him flying around in Scourge or whatever, his plane, and then he always flies by and goes, with his shaking his fists,
Yeah.
Use your signal.
He needs some fuzzy dice on the...
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
And they transform too.
Yeah, right.
Dice masters.
Of course, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of it as well.
That was a mess.
I know.
And I have to say, for as little plot as this movie has, it is pretty straightforward. It wasn't like that retelling at all. So
All right,
if they
sorry.
remake this, I hope you are in charge of plotting it and scripting it. Watching this now as an adult
Yeah.
who didn't go to film school, but he's been basically making up for it for his entire life. I don't hate this. It's not great. And as a kid, you don't know.
No.
And you're just, you're devastated, not by Devastator, ironically, but by, the fact that, Prime dies.
Yeah.
And then you're just trying to put it together.
Right.
Watching it as an adult, I realized there's so little dialogue in this. I mean, the real things absolutely do happen. And there are, you never mentioned once the hero of the film, Luke Skywalker, and Han Solo had a baby, and his name was Hot Rod. And this is a story of Hot Rod's ascendancy to maturity and to the leadership of the Autobots.
I guess I kind of on purpose.
But you just, purposely. But you totally left that out.
I did.
And this movie is just Star Wars. It's just Star Wars.
Yeah.
The bad guys are in control.
Space travel.
And that was always the thing about, I think, did we talk about this last week? Just enough trope, but like, there's a fatalism to Transformers that I don't know if it read for me when I was a kid, but, the bad guys are in control. The bad guys have pushed the Autobots off of Cybertron 4 million years ago. The Ark crashes on Earth. The Decepticons awaken first, not counting Beast Wars.
Yeah,
they always have the upper hand, and so, and I don't know if that's just a device to make the heroes seem scrappy, but they can fly, they can become jets, and not like a dumb compact car, and that is given steroids and given a regimen, 18 months of mad MMA training in this movie, because like you said, it opens with we don't know. The big thing about this is it represented a break between the second season and the third season of the TV show, where Hasbro went, okay, set the toy box on fire because we got to sell more of these things. And so in the movie,
so stupid.
It is stupid because they still make Prowl figures today. Do you know what I mean? You can still make these figures, just add more guys.
Right.
But anyway,
Why
so
you have to kill everybody?
So their thing is, like, not only is, this sort of dark and the bad guys always seem to be in control, but the bad guys murder like half a dozen characters that you've been following for 2 years as a kid. Oh my God, Cliff Jumper, no!
Well, you were saying too when we were watching it, like, how they've been shooting at each other for 2 years and missing.
Yes.
And then they just like fatally kill.
Right, because it's a movie.
All of these.
It's a movie and not a toy commercial, except it's a toy commercial. There are all kinds of rules about what you could and couldn't do on TV back then, but since it's a movie, Spike can say shit, and also Ultra Magnus can say damn, and then you can have lasers actually hit their targets. No problem in the Bay films with that. And so they immediately are being chased like the Empire chases, the rebellion in Star Wars.
Right.
We have a planet-destroying device show up that doubles for Darth Vader. So Darth Vader is also the Death Star in this. You could make an argument that Galvatron is Darth Vader as well. I'd make him one of them higher Moffs or something like that. Anyway, and then we go. The Autobots get split up, and 2 of them end up on Quintessa, the planet of the Quintessons, who will feature later in the show. So they're setting that up, and then the other ones land on Junkia or whatever and meet the Junkicons, who are not important really at all. They're never important, and it's
too bad.
Yeah, and it's like a weird. Okay. I was picking up like racial stereotype undertones, but anyway, they're led by Eric Idle, who is just quoting old commercials, and that was a decision they made. Although the Weird Al song, highlight of the film.
Remind me how the Weird Al song goes again.
Which part?
I don't know.
You better squeeze all the Charmin you can while Mr. Whipple's not around. Put your head in the microwave and give yourself a tan.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, if it dare to be stupid.
But they were so lucky that they landed on that planet because, like, those guys.
Oh, Ultra Magnus gets pasted. Like they just destroy Ultra Magnus.
They destroy Ultra Magnus. Then, okay, this is another thing that I don't like how...
Well, I wasn't done comparing this to Star Wars.
Okay,
Then later on they go into the thing, and the thing in this case is the Death Star.
Oh,
they rescue their friends who are trapped in the Death Star.
Right.
And then we don't really, how long do you want this to be? So we have a truncated third act where Hot Rod hears his mentor's voice, use the Matrix, Hot Rod.
Right.
And then Hot Rod, levels up. And because we need him we need to sell the toy, we need to have him in the show later, just throws Galvatron through the wall into space. And it's like, yeah, that'll probably do it. And that's the end of the film. And then we have the throne room ceremony where everybody gets a medal, except for Chewbacca.
Right. Didn't they fix that when they redid it?
I don't know.
I feel like that's something that... anyways.
I don't care.
Another thing to go along with that is that, and maybe you were basically insinuating this anyways, but that the bad guys vastly outnumber the good guys. Part of them being scrappy is that there's not as many of them.
No, I mean, in the toy line there would be... I mean, they're down 5 or 6 Autobots because they're all murdered on that shuttle. But otherwise, I think they're about the same, right?
Are they? Because it seemed like the Decepticons were all over the planet.
You might be
Maybe
right.
That's just how
I might be crazy because you have to kind of mirror things because you can, if your bad guys are cooler than your good guys, and almost universally they are in the Transformers, then you're going to have to give the good guys a future beatbox and rapping ghetto blaster in order to compete with Soundwave. Yep. I think the Autobots might have gotten a Devastator situation at one point, but since Devastator, you need all 6 Constructicons, then it's not like they all have like individual personalities. But yeah, so they get 6 for 1 there.
Yeah.
Although the Autobots do get the Dinobots, but there's only 4 of them. So I think numerically they might be down, but I don't think it's any specific, way.
Okay, I guess I see your point.
Yeah, it's not like an overwhelming advantage.
I do not like that Hot Rod is the star child, the special gifted one. Yeah. Oh my god. Like when Cup is like, this is the When Cup is like, this is like the universal language or whatever, and then they...
Best bit in the film.
And then, they get captured, and then Hot Rod does it on the junk planet, and it goes off like gangbusters. I was like, why?
Well, he has to learn it.
I know, but why when he does it, it works?
I guess.
It's like, well, now you just make Cup look like he's like a weirdo, and he taught him this thing that works, but he can't make it work for himself. And Hot Rod just looks like he's special for some reason.
Cup decided to feed a bunch of shark men Energon. Cup screwed Cup.
Yeah, I guess.
Cup should have used contextual clues to learn that they were going to be in trouble if they mess with these guys.
Well, another thing that I noticed, and maybe this is just how they decided to do it for the film, or they just didn't want a lot of fanfare, or maybe this is just how they did movies in the 80s. I don't know. But I was seeing about how today, and I we have so many other franchises and worlds that are huge these days, where maybe in the 80s we didn't necessarily have that to an extent.
Ever heard of Dune?
Yeah, no. I know we had stuff, but I'm just saying, the Marvel universe, it's so extensive. There's so many characters.
It's so dense.
Yeah, right. I know. But I'm just saying, whenever, a character dies in, a modern movie, and it's a character we followed for a while, they make a huge deal out of it. I'm not necessarily saying that I love that, but 4 or 5 guys are toasted right at the very beginning, and we don't fixate on them at all. Optimus Prime's death was huge and a big deal.
I mean, do you miss Wheeljack? I mean, I think they did. Optimus Prime was the funeral for all of them, right? In a way.
I guess so. And I thought was interesting too was with Optimus Prime, once he did pass on, they decided to show him being ashen and just void of color.
Yes.
Which I thought was really interesting.
Well, as you pointed out, as this fired up, this is a lot more manga than the show. The show is like
a lot more
all
anime,
shows animated in Southeast Asia, probably, but they really juiced up the manga side of it, and all the people have. It's just like this is the most violent Daft Punk video like I've ever watched. They all have that kind of look, and so yeah, I mean that's all a part of it. What'd you think about the soundtrack?
Oh my god,
this is a musical more than a movie.
There is so much music, and I think one of the reasons
it's a bunch of like C-sides from like 80s metal bands.
I think maybe this kind of inspired you to watch the movie, but I found out from you that the song "We Got the Touch" that Mark Wahlberg sings.
We may have the touch, but you personally have the touch.
Yeah, that you have the touch. That Mark Wahlberg sings in Boogie Nights is from this movie. And I was like, what? And then he's
you just thought that was Dirk
Transformer.
Diggler's song.
Like,
yeah.
I thought that was I didn't know that. And I thought that like within the world of the film, this was like him, like he wrote the song, and like him and John C. Reilly are like, John C. Reilly was like, this is going to be huge. So within the world of the movie,
I think it's a movie anachronism because he's in like a red leather sleeveless top, right, and parachute pants. So that I'm trying to think of like because the whole movie's about the porn industry going from. It'd be real dicey because this is '86. I guess I actually don't know when Stan Bush released the song "The Touch." I'm assuming it's just in '86, and I don't think it would be that because Dirk had a real quick rise, a real quick fall, and then a real quick comeback.
Yeah,
because the first porn awards or whatever that he goes to is like '81, right?
Something like that.
I think it's supposed to be or '80. Yeah, and then the second one, thank you.
Yeah, right.
Is like the next year.
Yeah.
And then if he burns out a year or two later, spends 6 months jerking off in a parking lot and comes back, it's just an anachronism. PTA was just like, oh, it's the perfect song. It's the most ridiculous, pathetic song. And it's not, though. It's amazing. But listen to that song.
I know.
It's cheesy as all get out, but it's a great song.
But within the world of the film, is it supposed to be that like
it's all
wrote
diegetic.
The song?
Yes, Blaster is just.
No.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I thought we just covered that. Sorry. I didn't. I understood your question. Because you outlined it so well, and I began answering it in the middle. I skipped the first couple of steps.
It's okay.
When we could have made the question explicit. Then went, oh, yeah, hadn't thought of that. Oh, and then but instead I just skipped to the middle of it because I was already thinking about it when you were already asking it.
Okay.
And the answer is no. I think it's just an anachronism for the film. Paul Thomas Anderson's like, I need a song that, first of all, is out of Mark Wahlberg's range. Just go figure. We're talking about Boogie Nights when we should be talking about Transformers, but that's your fault.
I know.
Out of his range.
Yeah.
Is Dirk Diggler's personal ethos, as long as he's singing to himself, and also it's just the most ridiculous, cheesy thing.
Well, I always imagined he was singing it to himself.
Yeah. So it's both. Yeah. It's like his statement of power, but it's completely pathetic because he is at the bottom of his metaphorical whatever rope at this point.
Right.
Yeah. Talk about Eric Idle already. No, there's nothing to really talk about. It's kind of sad. I wish that Eric Idle had more to do. There's some great voice talent in this, and there's some you have a voice talent in this, and like Judd Nelson is Hot Rod. Okay, all right. Judd Nelson's out there somewhere still, right? Let's get that guy back.
What else has he done? I don't know what else he's done.
He played a murderer in that movie.
A murderer in that movie. Okay.
He's the Breakfast Club guy. He's Bender from the Breakfast Club.
Okay.
He was the Brat Pack. He's at St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah.
And then he was in a movie around this time, maybe in the early 90s, where he was like, he's going to stalk you. He's going to kill you. He's one of the first like stalker films.
Okay.
What? I don't want to spend this. Okay. I never planned to spend this much time talking about Judd Nelson. Here we are.
Did he do Hot Rod in the TV show too? Or was that somebody else?
What a great question that is outside the range of this discussion.
All right, fair.
Yeah, of course, Leonard Nimoy, Robert Stack, Unsolved Mysteries, R.I.P. is in this, and R.I.P. died like 20 years ago. And of course, Orson Welles, his last role.
I know!
What a get!
Unicron!
But the unsung hero
what?
of this is Lionel Stander as Cup. Cup is the... I like Springer. I like Springer. Springer is the actual unsung hero of this because he drags Arcee's ass all through this movie.
Yeah.
And never even, like, he should be the Han. Do you know what I mean? Like, Hot Rod is the Luke. Springer is the Han.
Which, is Springer the one that turns into...
He's the green one.
He's the one who turns into
He's the triple changer.
Triple changer, turns
Yes.
into helicopter.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the green one.
Gotcha.
He's got all the quips. He's pulling the Princess Leia robot hair through the whole thing.
Yeah, she has Princess Leia robot hair.
But no personality, and I don't even know who voiced him. But like Cup is like, they made a bunch of new Transformers. Blur, you just want to strangle. Wheelie,
he's meant to be annoying.
Wheelie the same.
Yeah.
John Machida, voice of Micro Machines, Blur. But Cup's great. The only problem is this is in 2005, so it's like 30 years after the original series, which is set in 1985 or whatever. And he's like, I got all these stories. So I guess you were just back on Cybertron? You know what I mean?
So he wasn't in the
he wasn't in the
series?
first two.
Okay.
And the whole bit with him is
he's
really
got all
old
these
now.
war stories.
What
yeah.
they should have done instead of killing all those Autobots that they weren't going to use is just have, Wheeljack or I'd say Cliff Jumper, but Casey Kasem is. I like Casey Kasem's voice the way it is. I don't want him to pretend to be an old man. Just take Prowl or something like that, and he'll be
old now.
Like Frasier's dad on Seinfeld. Frasier's dad on Seinfeld. Sorry, whatever. And he's he's got a war injury, but he's got like, that's not how we did it back in the day. You got to watch out.
Yeah,
but that's what Cup is, and I really like Cup.
I like Cup.
I don't think he does anything cool ever again.
Does Cup appeal to young kids? Is what I want to know.
No, who cares? That's the point.
Okay,
I'm watching this.
All right.
But he's got all his stories, and the Dinobots love him.
The Dinobots freaking love him.
And then at the end, when they're flying towards their home world, who they have been torn from, and 2 of the moons are rubble, and there is a giant robot with horns standing on top of their planet fighting other ships, and Hot Rod's like, what do you got, Cup? And Cup's like, I'm paralyzed beyond the capacity for reasonable thought. I don't have any stories for this. This is insane.
No, it doesn't remand me of anything.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah, it was good.
What else? Come on, we gotta move on. Grimlock's. You gotta love Grimlock.
That's the T-Rex dinosaur.
Yeah,
I like Grimlock. I like Grimlock a lot. What was the name of the new guy that like kind of met the Dinobots and like he like
Wheelie.
Yeah,
screw him.
He's kind of annoying.
Plus, why did they meet him on the planet? On Quintessa, presumably, and he's already an Autobot. He is an Autobot. Symbol.
I know. I was like,
so that makes me think it's a
there?
race. But in the new War for Cybertron, which is a new continuity, but it is trying to merge all the old continuities, Bumblebee's like, yeah, I don't want any part of your war. I'm no Autobot. It's like, so Autobot and Decepticon are like a faction that you join or something.
That's what they're making it sound like, at least in that series. Like, because in that series, Bumblebee didn't have the Autobot insignia because he had not chosen to be an Autobot.
Said that. Burning through the last of my notes. The Doomsday. No, not Doomsday. Prime and Megatron is like Superman fighting Doomsday. Like, neither of them can really lose, although, Prime does die.
Prime loses.
Megatron probably would have died.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Peter Cullen and Frank Welker because they, their characters got killed. They're the main characters in this show, and they both get killed, and then celebrities replace them, and that happens a lot. Although, he's got a great career now, just yelling, give me your face.
I know. He's doing okay.
Give me your face.
So
I had Galvatron as a kid.
Yeah.
I couldn't have Megatron, but Galvatron, and they did this on purpose, was a cannon and not a gun. So
that's why you couldn't have Megatron because it was a gun?
I think
because
so.
he turned into a gun.
I think they took it off the shelves because it was a gun.
Okay, but a cannon's
because some
okay.
dumb kid got shot. What else? The rebuild Megatron sequence is awesome.
Yeah.
RC has Leia hair. Hot Rod is even training with a lightsaber.
No, you're right.
On the ship, they're not even trying to hide it.
No, they're not.
And Ultra Magnus is a terrible, terrible, terrible leader. I love when they're being chased off the planet, and they've done this, this thing. Where maybe they're going to do it, but they're going to separate the ship. TNG, I see you stealing things from Transformers, and they're really in trouble. And they're like, Ultra Magnus, they're coming up behind us. We need a plan. He's like, I can't deal with that right now. He's just totally freaked out the entire time. He's not.
That's your job.
He's not ready for this. He's no Prime. Yeah.
There are a couple of the planes, like when they were seeing them, like when we see that they break off the ship into two different parts. So they're like thinking, well, that's a cool toy. So I'm sure they had like toy versions of like the ships that they flew in and everything too. They did it?
I don't think so.
Really? Hey, that's a missed opportunity.
They had a Autobot city that was a transformer that turned into a giant robot, but also would become a city, and it was called, I don't remember.
Oh,
Megapolis or something like that.
Okay.
And that is pretty much it. Come on, think about what we're stealing time from. We got to move on.
Okay.
Although I will say, till all are one. What was the movie you picked?
The movie I picked was Drunken Master.
What year did it come out?
That's
not your job to know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. 1978.
Okay.
The answer is 1978.
Okay. So
I love how you're just ready to talk. Why don't you throw it to me so I can give the quick recap, and then you can talk all you want.
Okay, fine. Give us a recap.
You sure?
Yes.
Wong Fei Hung is the mischievous child of a local kung fu master, and he gets in trouble, and as punishment, his father sends him to be trained by Suha-Chi, the drunken bandit, not bandit.
Beggar?
Beggar, yeah.
Yeah, Beggar Sue.
And through a course of misadventures and about 6,700 kicks, he ends up training under Suha-Chi. They also have misadventures. All this time, there's a killer out there, Yang Tisung, who is an assassin for money, and there's he has been hired eventually in the third act to kill Fei Hung's father, and so Fei Hung must learn the drunken boxing style of the 8 drunken gods, and return and defeat the assassin and save his father. And we don't even know the movie's about that until like 25 minutes from the end. The drunken gods never show up until about an hour into the movie.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that is. So, I have not seen a lot of Jackie Chan movies. I am not 100% sure if I had ever seen this, but I can tell you after watching this just recently, I don't remember seeing it if I have seen it.
Well, so success for you.
So it might as well have been that I hadn't seen it. So anyways, because you see a lot of clips and everything, and I think everybody knows I think everybody should at the very least know who Jackie Chan is. But it's just amazing watching him in film, because he's such a great performer. Like he's an amazing martial artist, but something else that he does so well, and something that I don't think you see a lot in films today is this the mixing of the martial arts with the comedy, and that just like the comedic timing and the bits and everything. It's done so well, and it's just everything is very well choreographed and planned.
The end. Well, we can talk about those things in detail.
I do want to talk about those in the detail. Yeah,
most the genre of this film is the wuxia genre, right? It's the genre of martial arts heroes, and specifically, this character Wong Fei Hung was a real guy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know if he drunken boxed or whatever, but he was a Cantonese man who was a school teacher, had his own school, and so they've told these legends about his It's like Washington chopping down the cherry tree or something like that,
Sure.
or like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. So like he's a historical guy, but none of this is historical necessarily. Is that the storm siren? That's what I needed to know.
I think it might be.
Okay. Well, we'll try to wrap this up pretty soon. And so this is set. It's not clear when it's set, but Drunken Master 2 is supposed to be a sequel, direct sequel, I believe, and there's trains in it. So I think this is in like the late, 19th century. It's just regional,
Okay.
They're not. Or China is not, industrialized a lot to this degree.
Sure.
And things of that nature. And so so this is like usually like wuxia films are. I mean, they can be set in the modern times, but they're usually set in like in ancient times, like a Crouching Tiger situation.
Okay.
And a lot of them aren't funny. Like there's a million Shaw Brothers movies that are all amazing, and they're not really. There's a joke or two, but they're not like funny.
Right.
But it's really like Jackie Chan really pioneered that, and he's Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Yang Bao, all these guys. They're the Seven Little Fortunes. They were trained in Peking opera and then went into kung fu films and brought humor and grace and acrobatics and all this stuff with them.
Yes.
A lot of food, humor.
Oh my, so much food humor.
For Fei Hung, loves to eat.
Yeah.
We really dropped the ball. We waited so long to put Jackie Chan in a like the second they finished shooting Rebel in the Bronx, they should have put him in an orange gi, pushed him out, and just done a Dragon Ball film. Not worried about the crossover. If they had been smart and thought ahead, amazing, right?
Yeah.
Instead, they waited.
Yep.
Eventually, we got him in a Monkey King movie, but he was like. He wasn't like the main character. He was like a side guy or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made Dragon Ball Evolution, and we all wanted to stab our eyes out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just so I have a bunch of Jackie Chan films on my list.
Why?
Because I want to watch them.
But are they spread out?
Well, I will spread them out. I won't be like it will not be like just a bunch of Jackie Chan. I want to spread it out.
That, okay.
Yeah, but I will spread it out. But I thought this was a good one to kind of start with. But I like it a lot. But it's weird because it's like it's you know what you're getting, right? It's a martial arts film, so there's like lots of different fight scenes, and like every single excuse there is to put a fight in there, we'll put a fight in there.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It does have a plot, and I think that the plot is important. But I feel like you don't really, like you were saying, when it first starts out, it's basically just like he is somebody who gets into trouble, and he doesn't really take his martial art training or anything seriously.
Well, there are 3 encounters that we see.
Yeah.
Because he is training, and he's playful because he's messing around with the assistant at the school who's teaching them, and nobody likes.
Yeah.
Then
nobody
we see that
him.
he is I don't want to say lecherous, but he is he's naughty.
Yep.
He's the naughty panther,
right?
Because he tries to kiss the girl or whatever,
and get her
then
to
gets
hug
the
him.
Crap kicked out of him by the woman who he turns out is his aunt.
Yeah, which
and
was
and
fantastic.
also on his way home from that, he's heroic because the mean guy breaks the old man's jade and won't pay him for it.
Yep.
And then he steps up and he's like, "All right, well, it looks like I'm gonna have to kick your ass today." So
and he does, but
he's all of these things.
Yeah, you're right. I love that his aunt like kicks his butt, and she doesn't even look like she's breaking a sweat. And there's so much kicking. I love it.
Yeah, there had to have been some doubling in this, but a lot of it, because like remember, Jackie Chan does all his own stunts.
Right.
Well, I mean, like he did that. That's his philosophy, but it wasn't like a thing. It's not like he's 45 years old and he's jumping onto a hovercraft and Rumble in the Bronx because he does all his own stunts, and he breaks his ankle and he has to wear a cast painted like a sneaker for the rest of the film. This is just like there's a bunch of like other kung fu performers and talented actors and performers, and they're all his dad is doing all the flips and stuff.
Yep.
You can't fake a buzz cut like that on a character.
No.
Now the guy that plays Suat Chi, you can put a wig on. He's already got a wig on
Yeah.
and a little hat. So if you needed to like have somebody who flips better than he does or whatever, you put that in. But like in the scene where he's doing the marionette thing with Jackie Chan, he's teaching him the holds by pulling him.
Yes.
He's just flipping over and he's like doing somersaults and he's doing all that. So all of these people are superhumans.
Yeah. Well, I heard that we were watching something, and I heard that the actor who plays that role is another really well-known martial arts performer.
I did not know that.
So, and people, I guess, when they talk about that movie, they talk about how both are, or how great they both are in that film, and I think that that's really important too, because like you know he is the drunken master, but you see him teaching Jackie Chan's character how to do it and everything.
There's a long tradition of master teaches, a wayward pupil, and the pupil.
Yes.
I mean, him doing all the things with Fei Hung, and he just thinks that he's torturing him, but he's
teaching
the
him.
fence.
Yeah.
Waxing on, waxing off.
Exactly.
Did you get a kickboxer vibe?
A little bit.
You know
I guess I could see that.
I know Kickboxer is the story of Frank Dukes or whatever, and Van Damme also helped. Bloodsport is Frank Dukes, but Kickboxer is very similar. Story.
Yeah. Yes.
And because he already knows how to fight when he leaves to join the Kumite in Bloodsport.
Right.
But Kickboxer is like written by Van Damme, and it's like there's a lot of crazy old man's gonna drop a coconut on his nuts. Like if that was a scene that was cut out of Drunken Master, I'd believe it.
I would believe that too.
Very similar.
Yes. And they just seem to always find themselves in these situations where they're getting into fights, and it's not like the master is like this great guy. Like he's playing the shell game basically.
Yeah.
And like he's really good at it, and then they get into this huge fight because the fixer of the game or whatever is like,
Ironhead Rat.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna take your money now, and like.
And then they do the Ironhead Rat fight, and it's like, what if we had a fight where a guy didn't throw any punches, he just kept trying to hit you with his head, and it's great.
It is great.
I've seen this a lot. Mm-hmm. This was on repeat in the VCR in the dorm room. I've never seen it this good before. I'm going to buy this on Blu-ray.
The quality was good.
But we watched the stream, and I'd never seen it this good before. I'd only ever had old tracking lined copy of a copy tapes, that came from China that you get at a con or something like that. So I got so many more details this time, and I was thinking about it. And I think that you're right. I think that Suachi, or the Beggar So, as he's called in this, is he's an older Fei Hung. Do you know what I mean? Like he's mischievous as well, but he's accomplished something, because we see that he has compassion. It's not like he doesn't care. Fei Hung escapes the training for the first time. He's doing the bucket brigade thing, and then he jumps in the thing, and the guy's like, okay, this dude's funny. But then Jackie Chan doesn't come up for a while, and he's like, oh my God, are you okay? And then, Jackie Chan pulls him into the thing and runs away. But, you see that he cares. It isn't like, Tarantino has also seen Drunken Master. So in the scenes where the bride is training with Gordon, what's his name's character? I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
And he's like, you eat with your chopsticks like a human being. And he's doing that to give her self-respect and control. But he did pull out Ellie Driver's eye, though, when she pissed him off. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Suachi is not quite that strict.
No, or that mean-spirited. He's rough, but yeah. Well, and I think that another thing that this has is the a good villain. I guess we don't see him that much, so it's not like we're like compassionate towards him or anything like that. But he's pretty dang evil, and he's like a paid assassin, and he's a good martial artist too. And it's
Fei Hung's story, so we don't need to spend any time with him.
True.
The movie opens with him, and we see that he is devastating martial artist, and we also see how he gets his assignments. Then at the halfway mark, he has a chance encounter with Fei Hung.
Yes.
And beats the crap out of him. but spares him because he's got a code. Man's got to have a code.
Yeah.
And then Fei Hung is like, that's part of his motivation to train. And then, of course, then they meet up at the end. And, like, so, I mean, we could just spend, 2 hours just talking about all the unbelievable stunts and all the fight scenes. I think if they remade this in Hollywood, they'd go, like, 3, maybe 4 fight scenes. There was as many kicks in this as there are lines.
Yeah.
And the only drawback to that is I think they balance the fighting out a little more in Drunken Master 2. Drunken Master 2 is the Terminator 2 of Wushu sequels, because it's just... I'm not saying it's better than 1. They're different films, but Drunken Master 2 better be on your list because that is one of the greatest kung fu movies of all time. But it's so relentless, and you just watch the screen and you're like, stop being awesome for 2 seconds so I can breathe.
Yeah.
But by the time they get to the end fight is so great because we see Fei Hung, he comes out, he's going to fight this guy, which is a heroic act.
Yep.
He's gonna use the drunken boxing thing.
Yep.
And we know that Kicky guy, kicks a lot. And then as he's, the momentum of the battle goes back and forth. And then Kicky guy's like, all right, guess what? I can punch. I just don't all the time. It's 70% leg, 30% punch. Check this out. He breaks out like the shadowless hand secret technique.
Yeah.
That everybody's like, you can't, he punches too fast for you to see.
Right.
And so Fei Hung starts doing the drunken boxing thing, and the bad guy's like, all right, let's fight. And they fight, and he's kind of getting the upper hand, but as he goes on, he's going to do the next thing. The guy's like, where's the guy with the broken leg? Go. You realize he knows the 8 drunken gods.
Yep.
He's already seen this. He totally knows it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
then
just
he can counter it.
Yeah, and it's so like the great power that you thought you had is like not that great because this guy's so good. Like he doesn't even like that style. He probably knows it, and he's like, yeah, whatever. Where's Miss Ho? Where's the girl? Come on.
Well,
but that's the fly in the ointment because little naughty Fei Hung didn't learn that part.
Because he's sexist or something.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Because he's sexist.
Yeah.
Even though he got his ass kicked by a girl in the beginning of the film.
He did.
And so then he's like, oh, I forgot. Like he says, when he first starts fighting Fei Hung's father, who's doing all these punches, he's like, hands are for opening doorknobs, feet are for kicking doors down. But then, like, Fei Hung has to use, like, his natural talent and the fact that he's learned all the other styles and all the conditioning that he's been given to create a totally... Because the whole point of drunken boxing is the unpredictability. All these guys learn all these styles, but if you can't predict somebody, it's like, stop rolling around on the ground and screaming at me.
Right.
And so he creates his own style that throws this guy off, and he also solves the mystery of the shadowless fist and just punches the guy in the face. And then gets up on his head... And I love that it cuts back to the cracking it's not, there's no blood or anything, but they cut back to him, smashing the walnut with his finger and thumb. So we know what's happened to this guy's larynx.
Yeah.
And then he gives him the people's elbow at the end and it's over.
I know.
It's so great.
It's pretty awesome.
And there's no denouement. It doesn't have to be.
Done.
He's done it. He's accomplished what he set out to do. He learned the styles. He saved his father. He did it.
It's epic. It's epic storytelling at its best.
Where did you read that? It's epic storytelling at its best?
That's me. I didn't read that anywhere. Thank you very much.
But I mean, that's just it's the best epic storytelling you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Screw you, Peter Jackson.
Right.
Screw you, Akira Kurosawa.
Wow. Anyways, my only other thing that I'm like there are other questions that I have. They're not as important. But I do want to know...
How can a son not have an ass?
Well...
I hope you give birth to a son without an ass.
That's just a funny thing to say. But I mean, like, the jerky guy that's in town who Jackie Chan beat up his son earlier, who is the one who was giving the assassin his orders and told him to kill his dad.
He wants... So this is how we know this is in the industrial age, because he wants...
coal.
For some reason, Fei Hung's dad might be like the mayor of town or at least like a high official or something because he comes to him and says, hey, I want to buy the graveyard because it's haunted. And he's
Right.
like, I think you probably want it for all the coal that's in it, right? You're going to just, tear it up for coal. And so he won't let him have it. And so the guy hires the guy to kill him so they can get it.
But I want to know what's the resolution with that, or if that
Why?
guy's like,
What importance is that?
I don't know. Is that guy not going to mess with him anymore because Jackie Chan would just kick his ass, or what?
Well, the best assassin ever is dead.
Well, that's true.
I guess the second best, if he attacked right now, might have a chance.
I guess.
But he's going to fight Miss Ho.
I kind of wish that Jackie Chan's aunt had been at the fight too, so she could have been like, "Wow, he really learned stuff."
Yeah, but
or
it's
something
not
like that.
Yeah,
but it's not really. That's not really what the story is.
No, it's not a story of a group fight.
No.
Wait for the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But I did really enjoy it.
Well, we're not done.
Oh, okay.
We got 10 minutes to fill. I love how, like I said, maybe there would be a way to Sky is Yellow, by the way. Sky is Yellow, scared fellow. Maybe there's a way to bring Drunken Boxing in sooner. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't. Because they do that in the second one. I think he already knows it because it's a sequel.
Right.
But, no, we can't talk about the second film. But we wait so long for it. But then when they introduce it, I like how it's introduced at first because, Suhachi's like, "Oh, you think I haven't been training you well?" And he's like, "Well, I mean, we got beat up." And he's like, "It's all conditioning, because you got to learn the thing, and you learn the 8 drunken
it's
god
the foundation,
style."
yeah.
And then he does it. And then after he's done, he's like, "See, he explains the principle. It's like, you pretend like you're really drunk. You get a little buzzed, but you're fooling. The pretense is that, you're out of control, but you can snap back into control. And it's all pretense." And then he takes the jug and he does this whole little thing where he's flipping the jug over and it's like, could a drunk guy do this?
Yeah.
I had a friend that I used to be in plays and stuff with, and we, people go to the bar after the play and he would have a couple beers, and his thing was like, you take your credit card, you put it on the edge of the table, and if you can flick it up with your fingers and catch it, you're okay. And I'm like, what if you're just good at flipping your credit card? And then you take out a farmer's market on the way home.
Yeah.
But anyway, It's kind of like that. And so then we do that, and then instead of like Fei Hung, maybe we should have moved that up a little bit. So Fei Hung is like trying to learn the styles, or then we do the conditioning for the styles, but he just wants to learn the styles. It doesn't matter because we cut into the best sequence in the film where Jackie Chan is just doing like a kata of all the 7 forms that he knows. And it's just like, and the music's playing, and he's turning the gorilla hand is turning the pages in the book.
Yeah.
And introducing like the different.
Yeah, that's a great sequence.
I can't remember any of the names of them, but the guy with the pot, the guy,
right.
with the double kick,
the strong right leg, and
And so Jackie Chan is just like going nuts, like flipping around and all this stuff. It's just like, man, it's just really good.
It was really good, and I want to say too, I really did like the music in the film. I think that it's scored really well, especially the big fight scene at the end. The music is really great, and I feel like they played that a couple of times. So maybe it's just that song.
There's goofy music that they kind of hit.
Okay, this isn't the goofy stuff. I'm not talking about the goofy stuff. I'm talking about the awesome fight rev you up music that they play. That I thought.
You got the touch.
Oh wow. Okay, I guess I should have seen that coming.
I gotta tell the world. Did you know that the whistle part from the Peter, Bjorn, and John song "Young Folks" is the same as the Aladdin riff, which is the stereotypical music they play when we cut to China or Chinatown in a movie?
Yeah, right.
So just whistle.
Yeah, it's when you told me that, you kind of blew my mind, and I was like, "Thanks for ruining Peter, Bjorn, and John for me."
Oh yeah, we're all bumping the young folks.
I like that
these
song.
Days.
Anyways,
what were they just sitting around and they're like, "Guys, check this out."
I don't know.
They're like, "Okay, yeah, we know you're a racist, Carl. No, check this out." Whoa.
So much different.
Now you got something.
Yeah, right. I also really liked the sequence right after Jackie Chan learns the style. He finds the guy who fights with the stick again, just kind of randomly.
Yeah.
And they have a really great fight, and I enjoy that fight because we can tell through his fighting that he's really learned these different styles and he's gotten better.
But he hasn't changed.
No. He's still kind of
a
trickster and a jerk. And
yeah, I don't know. Like that guy's like catering a wedding or something like that, and he just trashes the place.
I know.
Is that the scene in the bar when Jean-Claude is like doing his dance?
Oh yeah! Wow.
or is that the Iron Head Rat scene? Because, like, just adding to the evidence against Jean-Claude Van Damme, as if it matters, it's homage or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But he is like he takes him to the bar and gets him drunk, and then it's like, if you can kickbox while you're drunk, then you really know what you're doing.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question, but that's a little
Not
different
really.
because that's like his master did that, right? And like with the Ironhead Rat scene, like him and his master were just going out to have fun. They weren't looking for a fight, but a fight found them.
But Suachi doesn't go like, let's get out of here, or just like,
no.
Or
He doesn't run for a fight.
Knock the guy out or something like that.
No,
He's just like, yeah, go ahead.
So maybe it would be
take
that
it for a walk,
scene.
see what happens.
Yeah, right. Well, and the one thing I like about that fight scene too is that they kind of fight with they kind of team up. It's kind of like a team fight against Ironhead Rat. The Ironhead Rat guy, and the master is he's like, oh, this is fun. It's like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, boozes his spinach.
Yeah, what is up with the so he can't fight if he's not drunk? That's kind of what.
No,
they
he
made
has
it...
the DTs. He is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
He needs to be at least low level buzz the whole time. Grandpa has a problem.
Well, I was gonna say though, like this movie kind of makes alcoholism look like it's a fun thing. Like it doesn't.
Well, there's also a lot of sit-ups. Like a lot of sit-ups.
I know. It's not just alcoholism.
There's
alone.
the guy that tries to beat him up, who's the second of the young master that he beats up in the thing. He doesn't look like him at all, but he reminded me of Matt Berry. And then it made me think if we still dubbed cheesy kung fu's with like cheesy voices, he'd be perfect for that.
Oh my god.
He could have a whole career in that.
Oh my god,
you know?
Yes.
I'll hit you with 10 strikes. He would be that guy.
One thing I
hope
thought
your son is born without an ass.
One thing that I thought was interesting about that guy's fighting style, and maybe I'm guessing this was a choice.
And if he hasn't sung The Touch, we got to get to him. I want to hear him.
Yes.
You got the touch. He would be so good at that.
Write him a memo.
I'm going to tweet him.
Yeah, you should.
Go ahead.
That one guy, like when he's fighting Jackie Chan, part of his style is like he doesn't look at him in the eyes like the entire time.
A lot of them do that.
He's like looking off to the side and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think eye contact is dangerous in kung fu.
I guess.
Well, that's it. We got to go because it's over.
It's over.
Yeah. So stay dry.
Yeah.
And stay healthy
safe.
and stay safe.